We'd like to present our paper, Analysis of Management of Phishing Attack Risks based on an Adaptive Network Model. The paper is shared work together with Flavia Lepadatu, Theodora Mihailescu, Senes Spaan, Paula Titai, Marjolein van der Vossen, Niek-Jan van den Hout, Charlotte Hofmans, Jan Treur, and Peter Roelofsma. In this paper, we examine the processes of a phishing attack in a hospital by using simulation-based approaches to analyze the employees' responses to phishing emails. The aim of our research is to improve organizational resilience against phishing attacks and enhance hereby overall cybersecurity risk measures. The approach emphasizes particularly the risks of clicking on a malicious link and the benefits of reporting such suspicious activities. The COM-B framework was used to provide a structured analysis of the capability, opportunity, and the motivation of employees. And also, it provides a structured analysis of the factors that influence their behavior. In particular, we use the adaptive network-oriented modeling approach as was developed by Jan Treur, who used to offer a nuanced understanding of the interactions between the cognitive, the emotional, and the social processes, and particularly their adaptation over longer time periods. We also describe some simulation experiments and see to the future work of such use of research shows that European hospitals are at risk from phishing attacks. Fewer than 10% of the European clinics and hospitals have adequate protection from phishing. Hereby, they put highly sensitive data at risk for ransomware attacks and cybersecurity risk problems. Only 7% of the healthcare facilities have email security providing systems adequately at order. And 30% of the organizations only have implemented domain-based message authentication and reporting in conformance to the standards established in 2012. This means that there is a problem of susceptibility to breaches of sensitive data, and this issue needs sufficient attention, and in this research we attempt that by addressing this issue using a network-oriented risk assessment method. This is an innovative method based on artificial intelligence to assess the risk and to manage situations regarding, for example, with the phishing attacks. Phishing attacks pose a significant threat and exploit human factors and system vulnerabilities to gain access to sensitive data. When an individual receives a phishing email, several mental and social processes come into play and that affect their reaction. Peer influence can be an example of an important factor. It influences these aspects. Also, the environments with strong cybersecurity cultures may lead to higher vigilance. And the final decision to click, to report, or to ignore the email results from the interplay between such appraisals. Also, emotional responses play at stake, and social influences. Decision pathways include options like clicking on the link, driven by high curiosity or the fear of missing out. Often this is accompanied with low suspicion. Then another factor is reporting the email, which occurs when suspicion is high and there is a clear protocol for reporting. Also, the social norms are at stake and previous positive experience and reinforcement from such actions. Then another factor is ignoring the email, chosen when suspicion is moderate to high, but without sufficient emotional arousal to act. These are aspects which are at stake, and these processes also show learning and adaptation over time. And this paper presents a dynamic adaptive network model to analyze the phishing and attack scenario. The attack will be intended to affect the organizational structure of the hospital. And this paper will focus on understanding what exactly happens from the moment a phishing mail is received by an organization. In this case, we focus on a hospital, and it will be our domain target. And we will analyze what will be the outcome depending on the employee's reaction. The employees can delete, he can disregard, or he can click on a phishing email. This means that they undergo a learning process that has a certain effect on the capability, an effect on the motivation, an effect on the opportunity factors, and the dynamic interplay. To understand the changed employee behavior, we will use a version of the so-called COM-B framework. To understand and change the employee behavior during a phishing attack, we use a refined and extended version of the so-called COM-B framework. This framework has been used frequently in cybersecurity to understand employee security behavior and particularly to find effective interventions. The COM-B model and framework has three components: capability, it refers to the individual's psychological capacity and physical capacity to engage in activities for knowledge and skills in order to change and to react. The second aspect is opportunity, all the factors that lie outside the individual, and motivation, all the processes that direct behavior, motivate behavior like habits also, but also emotions and analytical decision making aspects. We apply the network-oriented approach on this scenario using the Convey model. You see here the table with the network states of the network-oriented scenario. And you see here in blue the higher states, the adaptive states, and in orange you see the base states which depict this general scenario things that happen. In network-oriented modeling, states are an important concept and they are connected to other states, and the connection is measured by weight, also by the speed, and also the activities have a certain threshold before they can occur. You see here the several descriptions of the states. You see here state number one is the start of the job. State number two is the psychological capability of the employee. And the next state is the physical capability of the employee. We see we apply the COM-B model. The X4 is the automatic motivation of the employee, followed by the reflective motivation and the social opportunity of the employee. And state number seven is the physical opportunity of the employee. State number 8 and 9, they refer to the phishing email received by the employee and the behavioral attitudes of the employee. State number 10 is referring to the state of the emails not received by the employee, and the employee reports the email as X number 11. X number 12 refers to the state of the employee clicking on the link, and the next state is referring to the feedback on the reporting of the email and the feedback on the clicking of the link. This describes the base scenario. The adaptation to this scenario is in the following states. For example, X number 15, the state number 15, representing the weight of the connection. The next state is representing the weight of the connection, which can change due to learning and other aspects. State number 17 refers to the representation of the weight of the connections also from state number X to state number 4. And the other states refer to connection weights as well, which can change towards learning, and also the speed factors can change there as well. In this graph, we see the temporal causal network-oriented modeling applied to the situation. You see here at the lower level, the base level, the description of the scenario that I just described, and then we see on the adaptation level how through several changes in the weights and the speeds, these scenario aspects can change over time due to the temporal causal relational network. Several simulation experiments we have performed here. During the simulation, multiple factors were experimented with the proper outcomes, using and changing various factors and weights, particularly the weights when evaluating the results were made. The values were based upon background research, which we included in the model. And these figures show the graphs resulting from the specific simulations we've done. It can be seen in the graphs, the purple line gradually reclines over intervals, revealing that email is active of receiving. Each time the employee receives a phishing mail in this scenario, they receive feedback based on how they engage with the email. And that is the reason why gradually over time the curve drops down. State X13 represents the feedback for state 11, which is clicking the phishing link, and representing the feedback for stage 12. This is reporting the phishing email. So reporting the phishing email, which is actually a very important thing to be done in the whole risk management assessment. Each feedback state is connected to learning states, which influence the employee's capability. A relation here with learning and the capability of the COM-B model, also including the opportunity and the motivation. So here you see feedback states affect capability, affect opportunity and motivation. These altered states lead to a change in behavior, and employees will feel less likely to click on the link each time they receive an email, as they learn from previous experience. Because the line representing the option of X11 receiving the mail is seen to decline each time the employee receives the mail, it can be argued that the simulation is successful. Here you see a positive effect of the learning over the time. Here you see a variation in a simulation. This graph represents one of the variations we have done. In particular, we have changed the speed factor of the adaptive learning. Through various methods, adaptive learning can be quicker and can be observed in the chain simulation. There's a drastic change at different times of the states occurring. The learning happens sooner and faster because of the changed speed factors of the learning, which impacted the rest of the model sooner. The same can be observed for the state 11, which represents the clicking on the phishing mail. And the steeper the rising state starts, which has components clear observable differences in the variations of the simulation. Several things can be concluded on our research. We've performed several simulations and experiments and variations on this, which demonstrate the success of the AI-based network-oriented modeling approach. This is an innovative approach where we assess the risks and assess the change, and also assess the adaptation of behavior and of learning towards cyber risk management. This method is proved to be successful using on the phishing attacks in the hospitals, can be applied not only to hospitals but also to other situations. With regard to our hospital situation, we see that learning is an important aspect in the cyber risk management situation in hospitals, particularly the learning to report. And our future research will be oriented to this. Also, particularly, we want to continue to do real-time monitoring with these phishing mails and how the people working in the hospitals react to it. If you have questions on our research, please ask it now, and we look forward to discuss with you on our work. Thank you very much.